All right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of great millstone that taught us the truth. And salutations to the hopefully elect that's around the four corners of the globe. YAHAWAH, who the world ignorantly calls God, YAHAWASHI is in the name. YAHAWASHI, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ and Jehovah. The Rakakwadasha is the Holy Spirit. I'm the brother I will lump you with the GMS Chicago branch. Out here in Chicago, come back at you with a lesson. And Lord willing, I hope this lesson be edifying to it may reach. I'm just, entitled this a quick hit, before I, start work and whatnot. Talking about Esau's sword. Because we know Esau Edom was blessed with the sword. The gun, all different types of instruments of war. The simple plain white man. So this is the book of Genesis 27 and 38. It says, and Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. Right, so that's after, Jacob, going back to the account of Jacob and Esau, how Esau was supplanted. Basically Jacob ended up receiving the blessing, and what he ended up going to Isaac, to ask for a blessing. This is Genesis 27 and 39, and it reads, and Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above. And right, these different land masses, and how he's going to take these different land masses by the sword. I'm going to get that Micah 2 and 2 in a second. He covered fields and take them by violence. So one in Malachi, how it talks about, they shall call him the border of wickedness. Let's continue. It says, verse 40, it says, by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. Right, his brother talking about Jacob. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, because it's going to come a time where Esau Edom is going to be fully subjected, full subjection under the Israelites. It says, and by thy sword shalt thou live. And right, Esau Edom lives by the sword to this very day, because it's his blessing. You see a lot of these, so-called white people having pride and using their guns, and pride in war, different things of that nature. It says, and by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Yeah, so ultimately Esau Edom was blessed with that sword, the gun, any type of instrument of war. You see that this man is is very a destructive people. Everywhere this man goes, he basically wipes out that different landmass. Whether it be, by the way of an atomic bomb. We've seen that during when the atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. We've seen these different things when they invade different countries and use these different war tactics on the people of that land. We know that they used the Gatling gun over here against Gad because what? They couldn't fight Gad, in hand-to-hand combat. So they had to use these different things to get the advantage. So that blessing was the sword. It says, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, which is your mind, the days of mourning for my father are at hand, there will I slay my brother Jacob. And this is what Esau Edom is doing to this very day. He is slaying us with the sword. The gun, these different types of instruments of war, all these, was Esau's blessing. That's why Esau Edom is so good at using guns and different things of that nature. Let's continue. This is the book of Micah 2 and 2. It says, they cover fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. Right, they cover fields and take them by violence. Because I had read in that Genesis 27, his blessing shall be the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven, loosely paraphrasing. And how was he going to get these different land masses? By the way of violence, by the way of the sword. that he was ultimately blessed with. And this is Esau's Edom's blessing. You can't, because niggas try to, take up arms, try to fight Esau Edom. You're not going to beat Esau Edom, at his own game, because he was ultimately blessed with the sword, But let's continue. I'm not going to make this a long lesson, but I just wanted to touch upon Esau Edom and his sword, his blessing. Let's get this. This is the book of Revelation 6:4. It says that there went out another horse that was red, right? Talking about Esau Edom. It says, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword, right? That great sword. Like I mentioned, these different instruments of war. The Lord put it in these scientists' minds, to create the atomic bomb. Now we know it as the nuclear bomb. Those ICBM missiles. If you've seen the Oppenheimer movie, you have an idea of what I'm talking about. But ultimately, the Lord blessed this man, with the sword, This is Esau Edom's blessing, the gun, different types of instruments of war, That's how he's able to, prevail over these different nations, Just go back and look at the Grecian Empire, the Roman Empire. What made those places so great? Because they had a strong military force, ruled by Edomites, things of that nature. They was blessed with that sword, easily able to overtake these nations. I'm going to close out with this one. This is the book of Isaiah 14:16. It says, and they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? And right, how did this man ultimately shake kingdoms? By the way of his technology, by the way of his blessing, which is the sword, things of that nature, by getting one over on these other nations. That's how he did, that's how he shook these different kingdoms. The atomic bomb, now as we know it as the nuclear bomb, or the nuclear missile, Salakia. Verse 17 says, that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners. Because I did read that Micah 2 says he covered fields and take them by violence. How did Esau Edom do that? By the way of the sword, which he was blessed with, after he was supplanted from his supplanted, by Jacob. The blessing went to Jacob, Esau Edom. Esau got mad. He asked his father Isaac for that for a blessing. It was ultimately blessed with what? The sword. But I just want to touch upon Esau Edom and the sword, which is his blessing. And we see these so-called white people, using it today. That's how we can associate them with what? Going back to Esau, because of what? Their blessing, But I just wanted to make this a quick hit. I'm going to start working in a second, but I hope it was edifying. When anybody giving all praise and glory to YAHAWAH, BaHaShem, YAHAWASHI, BaHaShem, MakaKwadash. That want us to the elders and our apostles of great millstone that taught us his truth. And salutations to the hopeful elect that's around the four corners of the globe. Lord, I hope this is edifying. Until next time, YAHAWAH, Shalom.